Hello, welcome to this streaming extravaganza here with WXIA's Maria Martin and here at WTHR. I'm Dominic Miranda as we are getting set and ready for the Indiana Fever, welcoming in the Atlanta Dream. And Maria, I just want to start off the bat, Angel Reese, a lot of headlines in her first two seasons in the WNBA. Now, a preseason trade headed to Atlanta, and it seems
Yeah.
to be working out quite well here in the early going of the season. I just want your initial impressions on how she fits in, averaging a double-double and an already talented Atlanta Dream team. It seems to be going well thus far.
Yeah, I mean, Dominic, I think for a lot of people, whenever you have a fresh start, it feels really, really good in the beginning stages. And then something happens along the way to tell you whether or not it's actually working. Well, even just 8 games into the season, it's very much working for Angel Reese here. From the beginning of the trade in the offseason, the noise of Angel Reese is loud enough already. But when she's coming to a city that makes so much sense for her and one that really just stood there with wide open arms, ready to take her in. I think it just feels good for her. She's very happy here. It's only 8 games, it's a new team, but her teammates have acclimated her in a way that feels very welcoming, that feels very inviting. And she's not afraid to ever say, hey, I need to get better about this. And she does that. I mean, she's putting in the work. She's obviously hitting career milestones. I feel like every time we turn around, she just got her 1,000th career point just in her third year in the W, which is impressive because remember, this was a player who heading into the W, a lot of people said she can't shoot. Well, she just scored her 1,000th career point. So things do feel very good for her right now. The reception from the city has been incredible. Her head coach, Carl Smesko, always has really positive things to say about her work ethic and her humility. And I think it's just such a perfect fit for Angel and her team. And we just love having her here.
I love to hear that. I'm curious from a coverage perspective. I think anyone who covers the Indiana Fever or anyone with any sort of star power would agree
Yeah.
with this. When a superstar or someone who just has a lot of attention around them, no matter what they do, good or bad, kind of changes the way you cover a team.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, it's kind of how it is. I'm wondering if you noticed any of that, or it really truly has been seamless in more ways than one.
No, I mean, it's definitely very different having Angel Reese here, without a doubt. You get a player of her caliber. That doesn't happen a lot, and it doesn't happen to a lot of teams in the W. You know that very well, Dominic. You guys deal with Caitlin on a daily basis. I'm mixing their names together. We don't want to do that. That would be bad. Um, but no, I mean, it's totally different. You go out to a dream practice and it's, 30, 40 people. That was never the case before. Now, granted, women's sports is in a place where it's really taking off more than it ever has been. I mean, the trajectory of women's sports is astronomical. We're at a time where, when I was a little kid, I was such a big basketball fan. I was a Lady Vols fan, and I only dreamed of moments like this for women's sports. And so naturally, you're going to get a little bit more attention. But when you bring in somebody like Angel Reese, changes everything. It changes the way that media relations runs their department. It changes the way that people cover the dream. I mean, we're having national reporters fly in and cover games, which really didn't happen prior to that. In the dream, they're a young organization. They've had a lot of success in the last couple of years, but a lot of turnover. I mean, this was a team that prior to Morgan Shaw Parker, who's the team's president, took over this team. Prior to that happening, they were just kind of an afterthought. No one really talked about the dream a lot. And there's just been a lot of progression towards what they believe can be a championship caliber team. And I think this is a championship caliber team. They've been slowly building that for years. A part of that was bringing in a new head coach, a new front office. And then what comes with that is big players like Angel Reese. They have a young core that's in place here that now makes a lot of sense. That was attractive for a player like Angel. And obviously, Brittany Griner here changed the way that you do things as well. And it's ironic because we just saw Brittany Griner play the Dream, and the Dream had a nice little tribute for her. But yeah, I mean, Angel changes everything. And I knew that. In fact, whenever I heard rumblings of Angel potentially coming here, I said, this is going to change the trajectory of this franchise. And it was very similar with you guys in Indiana. You knew what happened whenever Caitlin Clark went there and what it was going to do for the organization, the excitement around it. I went to a preseason game for Dream and Fever a couple years ago, and I just was blown away by the reception of people flying in from all over the country with Caitlin Clark jerseys on. And it's the same thing with Angel Reese. I'll give you the perfect example. In our newsroom, there was already excitement around the Dream, okay? Because I know you have not been. Have you been to a Dream game?
I've not been to a dream game.
Okay, so if you go to a Dream game, it is lit. It is very much Atlanta. It is so perfect, and people want to go. It's one of the hottest tickets in town. I mean, you've got celebrities lining the court that you never had before. Well, when we heard that Angel Reese was coming, everyone in the newsroom starts coming over to my desk. How can I get Dream tickets? How can I go there? How can I be there whenever Angel's there? So that's just giving you a little bit of an insight of how different it is with her here.
That's awesome. And I imagine that's like a welcome. You mentioned it too. Like I think women's sports has been waiting for this movement, this
Yeah,
moment, whatever it is, and the last 3 years have been really awesome in that regard. I mean, it's expansion team after expansion team. It's kind of changing the playoff format
yeah,
to make it better for fans. I mean, and the league seems to be embracing star power. It sometimes seems like they can stumble in that regard, but like you don't want to shy away from, a quote unquote rivalry. I feel like it's died down here in the past year or so of
yeah,
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. You think of
yeah.
Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. That came at a point when the NBA was like kind of floundering, and that completely, when it is a star-driven league, a player-focused league, everybody benefits. And we've seen that with the improved salaries, with the improved travel for teams. I mean, it's
Sure.
just such a welcomed change and shift, and I love the focus. Now, with that comes some drama, comes some interesting headlines, and it just seems, and I feel like I'm pretty well positioned to say this, is focused on the Indiana Fever, at least here in the early going of the season. I mean, we're 8 games through, and it feels like every single week. I'm interested for someone who covers women's sports and follows the WNBA closely, what
Yeah.
your perception of this is being removed from the Indianapolis market. What do you make of all this? It just seems like one thing after the next.
It does, and I think it's unfortunate that it continues to be one thing after next. I mean, any press is good press, is what they've said in the past. But I think when it snowballs into something that's somewhat of a distraction for the team, that's when things can get a little bit chaotic. You can speak more to what those ladies are like with each other and whether or not that camaraderie in the locker room really does pay dividends in terms of the distractions and the outside noise. I mean, that's so important on a basketball team, on any team, really, in sports, but especially in this very fast paced and changing very quickly as we're talking about culture around the WNBA. Drama is going to come with that. Superstars to a caliber we've never seen. I mean, we've seen incredible. I'm not putting down any women that have played the game and paved the way for these younger women before because they were the pillars. But now you're seeing just a different level of stardom in the W. That comes with social media, that comes with more access, it comes with more eyeballs on your sport. It also comes with more drama, like you're talking about. And to me, I think it is a good thing from an outside perspective, only because it just generates more interest around the sport. What's
Right.
missing to me a lot, and I'm so old school, Dominic, when it comes to rivalries in sports. I think that they're just so watered down, and I think it is honestly because we're changing so much in every sport, whether we're talking about professional or college. There are so many ways that we're going right now. It feels like a river, and you're just trying to paddle upstream. There's so many different changes that it does water down those traditional rivalries and
Mhm.
even athlete on athlete rivalries that people love. I mean, people love drama, people love reality television. I'm not one of those people because I believe I watch reality TV every day when I turn on sports, and I want it to remain that way. And so
Yeah.
a little long-winded of an answer to tell you that I think from the outsider's perspective, for you guys, it probably feels a bit annoying because you're thinking, okay, something is happening every single day with this team. We'd like for it to simmer down. And I believe probably those women in the locker room feel the same way. But for me, it's only generating more. It's also creating more rifts with other players, which creates more drama. And so I just think the storylines become the center, and it is very entertaining. I'll tell you that.
It is entertaining, and I totally agree with you. It keeps the WNBA in the forefront of the conversation,
Relevant.
especially during June and July. There's no
Yeah.
football. Yes, the finals are on, but that's about to end. And Stanley Cup's about to end. Like the WNBA is going to have some prime real estate here in
Yeah.
the summer months. And so people need stuff to write about. People need stuff to talk about. And like
No doubt.
what better than Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and everything that comes along with that? I think too, though, and I just brought up this article that I retweeted earlier in the week
Yeah.
from Robin Lundberg. We could all stand to be a bit more normal about Caitlin Clark. And you did say we're in it and it kind of gets old. It's not only that it gets old, I think it gets so overblown
Yeah.
nationally.
Yeah.
Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark had a 20-second spat that happens everywhere. Had it happened to Aaliyah Boston, probably wouldn't be talking about it. Had it
Sure.
happened on another team, probably wouldn't be talking about it. And Caitlin Clark, when she addressed the media earlier in the week about this situation on Monday, you could sense the frustration that she even had to talk about it. Her and
Sure.
Stephanie White weren't scheduled to talk to the media, but it became apparent they needed to squash this right away. And so I love that it's part of the conversation, but I get as a 23, 24-year-old, with expectations that are already through the roof, how incredibly frustrating it has to be that every single thing you do
No doubt.
is, is just under a microscope. So I think that's where we're at. I think the Indianapolis market was like, look, this isn't a big deal, but that clip, it's tough. It's tough optics, and understandably, there's going to be conversation resulting from that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you think when you saw that, were you like, oh man, this is going to be a big deal, or is it just like when you're in sports, it's kind of like, okay, that happens, but because it's Caitlin Clark, that kind of became a big deal.
I think it does come with the territory with Caitlin Clark. I mean, you knew whenever she entered the W that the conversation around her was always going to be different. And I think it comes with a little bit of self awareness that I think she does a very good job at. But understanding when you're a superstar of that caliber, I mean, look at what LeBron James has had to go through throughout his career. Just an example on the men's side of things. Everything that you do is scrutinized, everything you do is painted under a paintbrush that's different from everybody else. And I think she was told that coming into the W, look, it's going to be different. You're going to be treated different by opposing players, by your teammates sometimes. The
Yep.
way you move is looked at so closely. Be careful, be cognizant, but she's also still growing. I mean, she's a young woman. She's still trying to figure out who she is. I was a different person, I feel like, every 2 years in my 20s, and I would never give that part of my life back. And so she's living it right now. She's trying to figure out who she is in front of millions of people. That's a difficult thing to do, but she's also in a position where not a lot of people are going to give her grace, and that's just the way it goes in society. And so I think for her, self-awareness is huge for Caitlin, and don't want to speak for her, but I think she does a very good job. And Angel Reese the same way. I mean, she understands that she is looked at very closely by everybody every night. No matter what decision you make, it's going to be scrutinized or it's going to be celebrated. And this
Yeah.
is such a change for the W, a welcome one. I think there's also a larger conversation at play, Dominic, that a lot of people don't talk about enough, is that with women, things are scrutinized a little bit more and differently. And in the lens and the breadth that we talk about women, it's different than the way that the conversations have formulated around men's sports forever. And so trying to navigate that part of it is also difficult. And Caitlin and Angel are two very good examples of the weight of that pressure that's been put upon them. But what a blessing. I mean, they're changing the game.
I know just as much as you can say, well, this is unfair, and in the same token, it's like, well, they wanted this attention for so, so very
Two
long.
things can
It's
be true at the same time. Two things can be true
absolutely.
at the same time.
Yes, no, that was very, very well said. And Stephanie White even said that she goes, if this was a men's thing, like we wouldn't even be talking about this. And I'm
It's
happy
true.
they call it out. I really, really am.
Yeah,
I think they both handled the situation very, very well, but while understanding and showcasing their frustration, which they had every right to do. It was just
sure.
a very interesting situation. There's no question about that. Okay, so the Atlanta Dream visit Indiana on Thursday. Dreamer 6-2. Fever kind of sputtering of late, 4-4. It's very, very early in the season, but I'm curious, does this still feel like a big deal? Although this is the ninth game for both teams, kind of an early season, like, all right, like let's see, is this
Yeah.
Clark Reese thing still a thing? And I'm sure for the Dream too, we've been playing really well, and why not really make a statement here against the Fever and kick them while they're down almost, and show them that we're going to be here the whole season. What do you think about that?
Yeah, of course. What have you been talking about for the last 10 minutes? Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. It's all anyone really wants to see at the end of the day. And so when you see the Fever anytime on your schedule, if you're a Dream fan, you're circling it. I mean, look what happened to them in the postseason by Indiana last year. It's one of those things that regardless of the way that Indiana is playing right now, they're still a good basketball team. You know that very well. And any given night, I feel like something can change with the Indiana Fever, and the Dream feel that as well. But what the Dreams mentality is and has been from the beginning of the season, though we're very early into it, is we are a championship caliber basketball team. And what better way to come out there and prove they can go toe to toe with the best than a team that really has the capability to change that at any given time. And so the conversation around Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, I hope never gets old. I hope that rivalry is always very fun for people. I hope the conversation continues. And for me, I wish it was more the conversation on the basketball court than outside of it, because that's what gets a little bit, I think, convoluted with the two of them. But yeah, I mean, I think it's incredible. For the Dream, who have been playing very well, and they have a lot of things that they got to improve. They're defensive heavy. They're very good on the defensive side of the ball, but they're in the back half of the league in a lot of offensive statistics. The Fever would be a very good way to capitalize that and change that. You got a bunch of starters for this team who play big minutes, not a lot of contributions off the bench. Maybe they can dip into the bench against the Fever. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, for them, it's championship mindset, and you prove it by doing the right thing against the Fever.
I mean, Gray, Howard, Reese, Mitchell, Boston, Clark. I love it. I'm
It's an
totally here
incredible
for this.
matchup.
Yeah, I'm here for like Dream Fever, Fever Wings, that type youth for the next 10 years of WNBA basketball.
What
Should
about
be a
for
lot of fun.
you? Because honestly, the conversation, like I mentioned, I think 10 minutes ago,
Mhm.
the conversation around the Dream, you see them on a schedule and you're like, oh, who cares? Even just 4 years ago. Now, how is that recepted by people in Indiana?
Well, I mean, we want to go. Everybody wants to go. My other
Yeah.
sports anchor and I are like, so which one of us is going to go? Because I know we both want to. Okay, how about both of us go to this? Because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be packed, and everybody here, I mean, almost to a fault, Caitlin Clark's fan base is very much a champion of her, where if there's any disrespect, like they're gonna let you know about it. And I think
Yeah.
they viewed it, even if that was like not entirely true, with this Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark conversation, which again drove eyeballs and drove viewership and drove everything that we everybody wanted when it comes to the WNBA. But it's going to be packed. This is the first matchup. The first 8 games have been kind of like we're not sure what's going on in
Sure.
Indy. The month of May too with the Indianapolis 500. A lot of people were focused on that, but I mean the Fever have made sure to be in the forefront of headlines. There's no question about that. This would be a
Yeah.
positive step forward. Of hey, this was an excellent basketball game. These two teams are going to play quite a bit. They could meet up in the playoffs. This could be a preview of to get to the WNBA finals or the WNBA finals. And this 107-104 last possession game was awesome. And we want more of that. And we're going to continue supporting both the Dream and the Fever. The Dream Fever was a sneaky, awesome matchup all throughout last year, I thought,
Yeah.
even without Angel Reese. Ryan Howard is a stud, can just
Yeah.
score from anywhere. Gray can make threes like I've never seen. I mean, they have a lot of similarities, and I really, really enjoy the Dreams head coach as well. All this to say, yes, we're 9 games through. Yes, it's a long season. Yes, we just entered into the month of June, but I do feel like this is the first premier. I don't think it's overstating to say this is an important matchup for both
No
teams. The
doubt.
been sputtering. The Dream are like, hey, look at what we got here. We're 6-2 early in going, top of the WNBA. These games matter down the stretch because there's not that many teams in the WNBA. So I think people are very excited. I expect Gainbridge Fieldhouse to be jam-packed, and let's just hope nobody decides not to play 90 minutes prior to the game. That's what I would hope happens in this game. But I think it's going to be a really big deal. Are you guys coming at all, or maybe
I
not for?
wish we were. I mean, it's a matchup that I think deserves that. There is
Yeah,
no
right.
question about it. But no, I wish we were coming because similar to what you're talking about, it's such a highly anticipated game in my mind. It's a good test for both of these teams. And
Mhm.
you mentioned Ryan Howard. To me, she's like the OG of this team because she was really the first of the young wave of players that came through here to change the trajectory of the franchise. And Ryan is such an incredible person. She flies so under the radar because she's so removed from any of the drama. She's never in the headlines for anything obscure, but she's still a superstar. And she's still someone who has made such an incredible career for herself as young as she is in the W. And the problem with Ryan Howard and Alicia Grace specifically, and what I think Indiana would try to capitalize off of, is they've just been very inconsistent with shooting this year. Now, you know that it can happen at any time. You just mentioned it, that Brian can shoot from anywhere. But when the two of them, they just combined for 62 points in their last game. That's what Carl Smesko is trying to tap into. When those two are clicking on all cylinders and can do anything from anywhere, this team is incredibly dangerous. And two, to Angel Reese's credit, she's been the starting big every single game so far this season because you have Brianna Jones, who's been dealing with a knee injury. So Angel's not getting a lot of rest. A lot of these starting five are just not getting a lot of rest. So they're at an interesting point. So I still think their trajectory is on the way up. So that's not a good thing for Indiana, but there are some weaknesses on this team they can capitalize off of. That's why I think this is going to be an unbelievable matchup. I'm stoked.
Right. And both teams almost like a solidifying of who you are in this
Yep.
game. I don't want to like overhype it or anything, but
Sure.
it does feel the stakes are a little higher than, the Portland Fire, whoever else, like in this league right now. And early season, you're kind of figuring yourself out, get some wins together, maybe you bounce back after a few losses. But, Angel Reese, I just feel like she's getting better and better. And she kind of reminds me of Aaliyah Boston in a way.
Yeah.
Uh, Aaliyah Boston just is better every single time I see her play. And that's how I feel about Angel Reese. I mean, 13 and 11, that's going to play when you got shooters. If you can dominate offensive rebounding and just kick out to put it in for one thing, or Howard or Gray, I mean, you're gonna win a lot of games doing that. You're gonna score a lot of points, which I hope this is a super high scoring matchup. I really do believe it will be. But
Here's
I
what's
think
dangerous about Angel Reese right now, because you mentioned the fact that obviously she can rebound. We know that when you're averaging a double double, that speaks for itself. But with Angel Reese, the really interesting thing about her here in Atlanta is there has been a very big focus in expanding her range. This is something that never
Mm,
happened for her before. This is, again, only year three of her WNBA career. But that's something that Carl Smesco talked about off the bat, talked about it in the post-game press conference after they played the Connecticut Sun. Her teammate Alicia Gray said that that's all Angel does is she stands out there when no one's watching and she's working on her three. She's working on long distance. She's working on short range shooting. That is something she has tried to get better at essentially from the jump when she stepped into that practice facility here in Atlanta. And you're already seeing that change. And I think that that is what makes her very dangerous right now because there is something that's targeted that she can fix. And Carl Smesco is doing a very good job at fixing it.
yeah, I mean, if she can add a consistent mid-range slash, I mean, we're talking like a three or two every game because that could really change the way she plays. There's
That's
no
how
doubt.
she got her thousandth point was she
Yeah,
did it from 3 point range.
look, if she's putting in two or three threes a game, now we're talking like that's a player.
Yeah,
That's really good to hear for Angel Reese because I mean, look, you want to block out the noise and get people to stop talking negative about you. Like it's going to happen on the floor. It's what Caitlin
sure.
Clark always says, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm hoping there's not any like crazy fireworks going on the floor, but I mean, if there is, there is, and it's all sorts of fun. I mean, we saw what happened with Sophie Cunningham last year, and anyway, but it's going to be all sorts of fun. I think it's going to be a fun matchup. But is there anything else you have on this matchup or any of the storylines? I mean, this has been great. We really have enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah, anything you want to contribute to, Dominic? I know that, especially with the fever, just everything going crazy when there's headlines every day, it does feel exhausting. But there has to be, I'm sure, from your perspective, a little bit of, I can't believe that this is the WNBA we're talking about, which is great to me. I'm sure you feel similarly.
Before Aaliyah Boston ramped it up a little bit, but really before Caitlin Clark, I mean, it was first game of the season, last game, and if there was a playoff game at home, we would cover it. As
Sure.
sad as it is, that's what the state was. They had to
Yep.
curtain off the third level of Gamebridge Fieldhouse because people just weren't coming. They had to put a fun zone in for kids to keep people entertained during it. And this is a franchise with a rich history too. 2012 WNBA Finals
Yeah.
championship, Eastern Conference champions in 2015, I believe. I mean, Lynn Dunn's a Hall of Famer. I mean, this is Tamika Catchings. That goes without saying. This is a
Yep.
franchise that has the accolades that you would think would come with an established fan base and passionate fans. And certainly there were, but not to this level. I mean, every single home game, every single playoff game, we need to be there. I mean, we were the local TV home of the Fever as well, which was huge forethought by whoever made that decision was awesome.
Yeah.
And it gives us really cool access. And the way it has grown has been truly unbelievable. I mean, the amount of reporters covering this, the amount of attention that it gets. Caitlin Clark's life, one day, maybe 20, 30 years down the line, she'll tell us all how it really was because I can't imagine I mean, as a 23-year-old, I don't think I would have handled it nearly as well as she is handling
No,
all of
most
this.
people
But
wouldn't.
And right. I mean, no, any normal person probably wouldn't, but she's definitely anything but normal in the best way possible. And it's been fun. It's been a little bumpy here as far as this season goes, but just seeing the growth over the last 3 years of the fan base. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I meet that are season ticket holders from out of state. I mean, we're talking Colorado,
Cool.
Ohio, Pennsylvania will fly in for every home game. That is crazy. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
care what you're watching or who you're watching. That is
Yeah.
insane, but it's really awesome to see. So I'm just hoping this is a great matchup for a super long time between these two focal points on the team and these two franchises just in general. But that's all I really got. It's gonna be a fun matchup Thursday, Dream Fever in Indianapolis, and we'll see what happens, where this goes for the rest of the season. But Maria, thank you so much for
You
making
bet.
some time. Great insight. Really do appreciate it. And keep it locked on WXIA streaming and WTHR streaming for all your WNBA coverage.